passion of Mondstadt is well-founded. I say. More so than I imagined, in fact. Even their hilly trolls are so very lively. Regardless, Mr. Yoke, we ask that you not go out by yourself again. Then what about my machine? I'm still missing, 1, 2, 3, 18, 19 components. We've got adventurers working on finding them. Just wait here in the city, where it's safe, please. But without that device, it's a matter of inspiration, you understand? What shall I do when inspiration strikes? It comes and goes, like a belch after a good drink or a candle in the wind. Actually, that's not a bad analogy. I should write it down. I'm sure Xavier would love it. You? Huh? Honorary Knight. Oh, wonderful. Just the person I wanted to see. Please, over here. Well, allow me to introduce you. This man here is from the court of Fontaine. No man am I, but a daydreamer. That is how we name ourselves. So, Mr. Yoke, this is our honorary knight. Yoke, Felix Yoke. Salutations to you, honorary knight. Long have I heard of your many exploits. Of course. Who wouldn't? Your battle against Devalin in Mondstadt made headlines in the Steambird for 3 whole weeks. If those reporters knew that I was speaking to you right now, why, they would be beside themselves with envy. You don't know. It's let's say it's a rather popular newspaper in the court of Fontaine. You once got their sales up to record numbers, I'll have you know. Front page, full-length expert interviews up the wazoo, and the best hand-drawn illustrations Mora could buy. You made a lot of people mad, Mora, there. Well then, traveler, Mr. Yoke, I shall leave you guys alone. I've got some other things to handle at the moment, if you'll excuse me. It was as I told. The Knights of Favonius have a never-ending backlog of work. Me? Well, I'm actually planning toward to that. As for the purpose of my trip, why, it is to promote these kinesis cores that I have made. Simply put, a kinesis core is a form of clockwork device. As long as its mainspring is wound from time to time, these cores can provide motive force for a long period of time. I even created a sort of perpetual motion toy powered by the kinesis core to show off its capabilities. I call it the Ever-Motion Mechanical Painting. Unfortunately, while I'd love to show the device to you, its allure was all too much for even monsters to resist. At the moment, they must have divvied my device up into many pieces in a manner most unfriendly, playing around with each component. I have, of course, asked for the help of the Adventurers Guild, but I have received no news from any adventurers so far. Honorary Knight, could you help me out as well, if you have a mind to? Believe me, neither my device nor the payment due will disappoint you. Wonderful. You are indeed a mighty adventurer, and a mighty sympathetic one too, just as the papers said. It's a shame that we're in Mondstadt. Were we in the court of Fontaine, I would bring a few reporters from the Steambird for an exclusive interview with you. I'm sure that your charisma would bowl them over to the point where you'd be guaranteed another 3 weeks' worth of headlines, not to mention the requisite royalties.
It's over! Billowing surge!
You've returned, Honorary Knight. What news of the components? Yes, indeed. This is wonderful. Heavens, yes. Well now, since all the components have been returned to us, all that's left is to combine them. Well then, Honorary Knight, if you want, you can attempt to put all the pieces together. It will be an interesting experience, trust me. Ah, bravo. All 6 Evermotion mechanical painting parts now return to us. Now then, all we need to do is to splice them together again. Why, of course. All these 6 smaller parts can be reunited as one. Together they will form a gigantic and beauteous Evermotion mechanical painting. Come, all we need to do now is to join them up. No, not at all. My machine is not some hastily cobbled together amalgam of scrap. Every part is wonderfully intricately meshed together never mind. I've never been the best at analogies. I swear it. Xavier stole all the talent in rhetoric for himself. Either way, give it a go. It'll be interesting. I guarantee it. Perfect. Why, it's lovely. Skilled in both mind and hand, you are, and more so than I could have expected too. Ha, I do recall that several ludicrous manuscripts from the Steambird described you as a straight shooting knight-errant who prefers to let their blade do the talking. How ridiculous and foolish those reporters were. How much ado they made about so little. After all, who are you, if not a sharp, smart, humble, and straight shooting knight-errant? When I get the time, they shall hear from me. Oh yes, they will. Alright, please take this particular device. You can take it out for a little leisure, should you, be at leisure. As for me, I've got to start raising the Mora. I'll need to travel to Liyue.